comfortable, at least in the previous map, against Team Liquid. So for them, they can start things off with the advantage, with that round lead. Hopefully, as Jack's at the desk, they have Julio now, who can kind of hopefully bring the players back into that mindset of, we're here in this moment right now. Last match doesn't matter, didn't happen. We need to focus on the basics. A few targets bang coming out. Monty from the side of W7M, and then Liquid targeting that Monty. Sorry, Thermite from W7M and Monty from Liquid. Monty and Skyscraper often brute force in those staircases on the karaoke bomb side. That's not going to be a strat available anymore. You can supplement that with the Oza instead if you would like. Asami, I don't see W7M banning it themselves because they used it so well, but they proved me wrong.
You're wrong.
Go for it. Wrong. So that means Liquid, they can actually loosen up on their attacker lineup. They don't have to bring the floors every single round and limit Nesk onto that operator that he played on Clubhouse. He can be allowed more freedom. And I mean, freedom out the gate. We see him on Ying, Ask on the A's. Algonis is gonna, replace the Monty with that O's, as I mentioned earlier, to get, map control, get a comfortable ground as an attacker, because Skyscraper, you don't have very many areas on the map where you feel safe. It's kind of where it plays out like Cafe, where once you drop the red hatch on Cafe, you're always under fire. Well, on this bomb side, if you're walking through the back staircase or up the main staircase, the moment you're like staring anywhere near the bomb side, you're always gonna be held by 2 or 3 different defenders. Now, W7M, they're always going to extend, no matter what map we're talking. Villa, Chalet, Oregon, Clubhouse, and Skyscraper. Yes, the bomb side is on the west-hand side, and we currently are looking at the east, because we're always going to roam around as much as possible. Those jammers slow down the attackers, stall them out, put them on reinforced walls. Liquid either have to deal with the roam and burn down that clock, fight in areas of the map that are very tricky to deal with, or go for a direct bomb set attack. This lineup that Liquid is bringing could do either or. They have both utility, they have firepower, and they have ways in for the roam. Oza shields, Yinkantilla, smoke grenades.
Why are you saying we as if you're an active player?
It's such a bad habit I have from streaming.
Stop saying we. You don't get to play at this level.
When I'm at the hairdresser, I'm always like, oh, we are gonna do something. They're like, who's we? I'm like, oh, it's my chat and I need more friends, Parker. That's what it comes down to.
It's so sad.
Maybe I just miss being a player. I don't know.
So sad.
It's kind of sad, man.
Send off forlorn. Extension hold now towards Geisha as we start off with round number 1.
Oh, we start off with round number 1.
Yes, you and I and everybody watching are starting off with our broadcast.
Okay.
And that is round number 1.
Our broadcast. Oh, that sounds
correct.
It's gonna be a slow start of this. Liquid cannot afford to lose any members right now, especially not to spawn peaks. We saw that happen where, I mean, it was Ask spawn peaking, but Casey getting the kill, so a bit of a reverse peak, if you will, at that. Casey, star member for W7M thought groups, and there are 3 members right now that are in pretty much all top 5 categories throughout this major. Rating, KD, entry, planned, and consistency. Casey, Palu, and Hertz. They're in every single category, basically. Lagonis, he's the top planner, sure, and Volps, he's also in that 2nd position of the entry area. But my point is, there are so many star members in this server from the entire major, performance-wise.
I mean, KZ had a quiet clubhouse in map number 1, but so did the rest of W7M. They really only had that good streak of 3 rounds. I mean, I guess 4 out of 5 or 1, but still, it was domination by Liquid. There goes one of those Osa shields, Talon shield put down, and prompts Lagonis to back up towards that karaoke wall. There's a toxic canister. You got to get out of there. Ask and Lagonis taking so much damage in the process. Nesk, the first one to die, resets, trades him back, and Alu with the skeleton key continuing from where he was in the previous map.
Starts things off hot. And that talent shield right here, that's how you would supplement out the Monty, because you want to get that stable position. But with 1 HP left and 1 talent shield gone, I mean, you can use your smoke grenades, but Casey's on the ward and he has to counter utility. Liquid, with 25 seconds left, has to make a decision now.
Where's Lagonis going to go with his 1 HP and diffuser in hand? Nick, that's not good if there's a smoke on the board, and Julio still has one of those gas canisters left. Ask has been dropped. Down goes Palu. Never mind. Oh,
trap.
Okay, 4 kills in quick succession. Round number 1 goes in favor of W7M.
It's a sloppy start. I mean, that toxic canister did so much damage to both Nesk and Lagonis, and when you lose the Ying, that's the main execute operator. Sure, Osa gets you in the building, and you can hide behind those shields, but you can't really get further than that because Warden can see through the smokes, and you can only really smoke off one area when the Ying falls. That makes things more difficult. There's a good read, good idea, philosophy from Team Liquid, but W7's attack, or sorry, defenses are very dynamic. They set up their pieces for various outcomes. The rush, the roam, the warden for the smoke grenades, they even had impacts for the Osa, so they were very well prepared for that attack.
Bomb located by attackers.
Let's turn over to Office now. The other top floor bomb site appearing. What we saw being brought from Team Liquid vertical play is especially important on this map, but if you bring a Buck, you bring a Zofia, you've got some options at your disposal. Team Liquid just finishing off their operator repick section. It seems like they're actually going to forego some of those hard or those soft breachers, but at the last second, Ask will sit on Zofia. No Buck, no Sledge. Not a ton of soft destruction, frankly, but doubling up on the hard breach with both Hibana and Ace.
Yeah. Again, it's all about having enough tools to deal with any problem, really. The Kaid here, if you don't bring the Thatcher, for example, you can't get it through the walls. It's very difficult on Skyscraper, and sure, you got secondary EMPs, but then you gotta bring like IQ to locate exactly where those claws are, or spend so much time droning out those positions. Instead, one EMP goes out, Selma, and gets a line of sight, then the claw, if you toss another one, can reactivate, but instead, just gonna take that trade. It's also a vault hole from that Selma charge, so it's not an easy injury point for the attackers. This mirror window overlooks both the bomb site and the exterior balcony. It's hard for Liquid to approach it head on, especially with that wall being soft. With the rotate, Julio can get very aggressive in this position.
Double Claymore too from Liquid on the Ace and the Zofia. This is the same that we saw back on Clubhouse, and we're wondering what the application of that would be. It can also just be that maybe Liquid don't feel like any of the other secondary gadgets are particularly worthwhile on those two operators, so.
I mean, you have a lot of windows in Skyscraper, and for this particular attack, they might not need them, but if they want to go for a different attack middle of the round, at least they got them this information.
On this map, it makes total sense to me, because you've got so much jump out potential for W7M. There goes that first logic bomb, but he'll be silenced as you step into the radius of the mute jammer, and mute jammers abound in the bomb site. Herds providing his teammates a bit of a reprieve from the annoyance as the phones ring away. Is Palu gonna run in here?
I think he is.
Providing he's svelte enough, slim enough to get in through that opening. Liquid putting their hard breach to good use. Right now, it seems like it's a pincher play from Liquid. That pincer move onto Volps, who's still positioned up by Dragon. Flicking away, but he can't outduel Nesk. Nesk lined up in a position where he could have gotten more than one kill. The guns from Liquid tearing through soft walls, tearing through those barricades. Nesk will follow up on the Selma that opens up from Dragon towards the bomb site. It's exactly where one of the toxic canisters from W7M will go. JV has one in hand, there it is, and that's expended all of the gas. 30 seconds left. A gas canister answered back by a smoke of resets.
The flank.
Shrouding the push. Herds by Drum right now, runs into resets. Resets prevails. KZ first kill for W7M. Julio on the board too. Lagonis' gun finds its mark. Behind the bar, not too far away, there's damage that can be done. But from below, Julio will take the nitro cell. Can he stop the plant in time? Lagonis, for a moment, immobilized. All of them losing out to JV, but Lagonis can't hop back on the diffuser in time. And that's W7M starting a streak of their own as they're up 2-0.
Liquid couldn't break that choke point. I mean, once you get Dragon control, that's the first step done, but going into the bomb set itself is problematic, just like that previous time. Julio dropped below, had a C4 in pocket, didn't even rip it or use it at any given moment, but if the plant were to go down, I mean, he is downstairs, and if he has enough information, he can find that kill easy peasy. Wasn't needed. The clock, again, the biggest enemy for Team Liquid. They're playing methodical, strategical, they're playing together. They're crossing every single box. Even the flank got shut down when Hertz attempted it. But there are 17 seconds left when Paolo got that kill. You have 17 seconds to get through 2 different rooms onto the bomb site with no drone information. And you gotta peek the right angle, win the initial gunfight, and try and get that diffuser down. It's too much.
Well, it seems like Liquid might be swapping things up. Putting Palu on that Twitch with the F2 in hands is a terrifying prospect. A sledge comes out from Nesk. Only a single hard breacher for Liquid. But I got to imagine that the Ying of Ask will be bringing the secondary hard breach gadgets. No, actually. Smokes instead. 4 smoke grenades from Team Liquid.
And no Warden this time.
Oh boy, they do have Evil Eye cams on the side of W7M and a Bulletproof from Aruni. So at least 3 devices from the defenders will be able to see through those smokes, and they will be immune from the blinding that will come from the 4 Candelas in the hands of Ask.
Lagonis can't afford to die. That means no hard breach, and that is a goodbye on the round. Casey's going to utilize the impact grenade to deny the summon charge. Of course, another one can just go on out. Again, we're just trading utility for utility. Those impact grenades are not needed elsewhere because you already got the shotgun operators are running for those rotation holes.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good value for an impact grenade to take out
Great value
of hard breach, especially as you pointed out that Liquid only has a single hard breacher. No way. Julio goes unknown inside a bathroom. I don't think Palu spotted him at all. You do not want a Maestro in that position. There is a drone in front of him, but it hasn't gone on just yet. I wonder if Julio has been keeping an attentive eye on the drone.
Looks like no one's gonna act, so I don't think either party knows the exact whereabouts of these drones or key positions. But Liquid, thankfully for them, they don't really approach that. Instead they go elsewhere, they go upstairs.
And the Candelas to go off. Herd's the very first pick. Frost mats have a huge amount of value on this map because of the sheer number of hop-ins that you see. As Claymores have value for the attackers, so too do the Frost mats, because your entry point for most teams is going to be the Vault. And as Palu vaults in, he finds 2 quick kills. A third as the Frost is just out of reach, slipping through his fingers. Ask takes out Volps, but KZ trades him back immediately. Logic bombs go off to give the whereabouts of the last 2 players of W7M to Team Liquid, find themselves in a 3v2. Case in the hands of Lagonis. It'll be a bona fide 2v2 when Lagonis goes for that execute. And with the smokes on the board, still 2 in the back pocket of Palu's Twitch, you got to imagine that an execute is on the minds of Liquid.
Yeah, ideally Paolo's gonna use that smoke grenade, and then of course the Evil Eyes, if they can see it, that's a problem. They punch it out, the plan can go down. 35 seconds is a guessing game for W7M.
Hit the 30-second mark. Lagonis falls off. Is he being spam pinged? Does he just not like his positioning? Yes, he is being spam pinged. KZ from above, they can hear this vigil making a ton of noise. Frostmat? Is that what that was? No? What was that sound that we just heard? Oh, Herds out dueling Palu. Lagonis gets the diffuser down, and Herds is the one to follow up on it. He's the last man standing. Damage is done to Lagonis. Resets will need to clutch as the diffuser continues to tick away. He's far enough back, removed from the action. But can he get a clear line of sight to that diffuser? Herds is going to hop on it. Resets might not be able to get the beat on him. As he charges up, Herds is going to stick it, and he does enough damage, but no, W7M still gets it, as Liquid's a little bit too slow to the punch.
Surprised he wasn't up above that vertical. No real cover for Lagonis, just fighting for entirely alone. Emptied his primary, went into the pistol, pre-firing away, 1 HP in the corner. When Paolo again did so much work, found so many openings, but eventually in that 1 versus 2, that's where Liquid they fall. And those Evil Eyes, they were such a big trouble for them. They had upstairs control for Kitchen, they could have rotated around, but the issue is Hertz played that so well. He rotated around the map in a safe environment and got to that restaurant lobby area, cutting the bomb set in half horizontally, while his teammate on the Vigil up above cut it vertically. Liquid had no stable ground to play on and had no information to work with. 3-0 now. I mean, things are just flipped. Defenders are feeling great right now in this matchup. Liquid, they started off so strong on Clubhouse because they won the first 5 defenses in a row, and W7M are on a great path to, do that same exact thing. The mentality, the mental game is really what it comes down to. Can Liquid now stay in it?
5 seconds to go.
and just go round by round. The comeback is possible because in 2 rounds from now, even if W7M goes 5-0, you swap sides. And if you just thrive that much more in defense, it can get tied up really quickly.
It's a full rotation for W7M. As in keeping with Skyscraper, don't see that bedroom bomb site on the first floor. It shows up from time to time, but the old favorable rotation is that karaoke T-bomb site on the top floor, office just across the hall, and then barbecue down below. Barbecue being exactly where the diffuser was walked in and then planted. We saw W7M clutch out. It's back upstairs to karaoke and T. Geisha, always a primary focus here for the attacking squads. You need to be able to open that up because then it denies any rotation from out of karaoke into that offsite portion of the map.
It's also rather easy access. I mean, it's an exterior wall, nothing can stop you. I mean, they can try and bandit trick, but it's not very common. And there's a window below, but Casey, aggressive run out, punishes Ask. This is troublesome because it was Lagonis on Ace last time with no secondary heart breach. This time it's Ask, he dies. Look at it again. No secondary heart breach for Liquid.
Oh my. Good news that you have resets. Team Liquid, you've lost Nesk, who instead of using the Gemini, just goes in himself. Liquid suffering blows at the hands of W7M, and yep, you're absolutely correct. This is just a mirror matchup at the moment of what we saw on Clubhouse. They match Liquid's total of 5 rounds in a row. W7M are certainly positioned to do so. But with a team like Liquid, and especially Palu available for Liquid, you can never count them out.
Liquid's gotta go off the paper right now and just try and lurk around and find these kills because you cannot play methodical siege right now. It's too predictable, you don't have the numbers advantage. Just go in and get crazy, enable your gunners. Oh, the timing.
Oh, Palu just missing out. Sees the Malusi, will spray through the wall, and he gets lucky on a bullet pen hit, but not enough to do any serious damage. Resets, caught by the double impacts. Lagonis will need to come to his rescue. He's not able to get him in time. A good suicide play from KZ to trade out. It's Lagonis in a 1v2. Lagoatness. Can he live up to that nickname? Sees the Jaeger's head, missing out onto Julio, but JV now knows his location. Flash goes. Lagonis blinds himself, but not Julio. Peek out from JV, no. Exhibiting the patience that we've come to know from these teams at this level. Lagonis has the case in hand. He'll need to get it down. Julio prone, and it's JV to swing. Intel was there. W7M doing to Liquid what was done to them in map number 1. 4-0, as we are not going to have a close map at all, it seems.
It's only fair that you repeat the damage that was done to you. And Skyscraper, I mean, we kind of expected things to turn around because the way you attack and play on Clubhouse is very different from Skyscraper. And we see it so far. It's hard to just do the 1-2-3s on attack because so many things can go wrong. And that's exactly what's happening. W7M, they're finding opening kill after opening kill. They have so much map to work with. They're flanking at the right time against Liquid. 4-0. They're gonna keep bringing that same bomb site rotation, same stable, comfortable operators. This bomb site is that utility game. It's the Kaid to deny the initial wall, force out the MPs, Mira to oversee the bomb site. What this does last time is that it forces Liquid to attack from the west-hand side, from that karaoke angle, and roam clear the entire map, or try and pick up the bomb site. That is going to be difficult because of that before-mentioned utility.
10 seconds left.
So it's almost like W7M are trying to funnel Liquid in to what appears to be the better approach, but it really isn't because it's just not that easy.
Attackers are moving
They do have
out
2
to
C4s in pocket, make that 3 with JV joining this time as well. So they could very easily roam on the west-hand side, have a member below, with a bit of information or sound cue, a bit of communication if you will. They can get some C4 kills of damage onto Liquid. Early breach goes out. Palu actually suffered so much damage. I assume that was a spawn peak or something because no C4s were used, and this was a team damage that was being done. Didn't see it.
Not sure. KZ so lucky to get out of there with his life still intact as Palu on Repel tries to make as much noise as possible. The 2 star players for these teams taking considerable damage. Supporting cast for Liquid cooled off in game number 1 and doesn't really seem to have found their stride yet. The bigger story is Nesk going 1-4. Nesk has had some heartbreaking performance in the matches that matter the most for Liquid, but when you've got a team as deep as Liquid, sometimes it's okay if Nesk has an off day. You can't have multiple players in that same position.
Speaking off.
I mean, he might have an off day, but not on that kill as KZ drops. He's already softened up, so it wasn't as hard of an engagement as Nesk would have usually had. But by Dragon, that Black Mirror gives Nesk some pause. Halfway point of round number 5, Team Liquid still searching for their very first round.
Yeah, Nesk has been flexing on like 3 uppers in 5 rounds. The Ying, the Thatcher, now the Nuke. So not really sure where he wants to play and what works for Liquid right now. And I think just trying out different things is the right approach, because if you're down 0-4, you might as well. This mirror window towards Dragon is really stopping the entire push from Liquid. They have a smoke in on Palu, or reset, sorry, and Twitch drones to go. They could try and break this apart because they have to do something. Otherwise, it's going to be a stalemate.
Well, Nesk still holding up right now. Gunfire over his head, waiting on the rest of his team to come together. Selma from Lagonis will go off. JV tossed out a Nitro. Salen gets the Selma as well as Lagonis. Damage has been done, but still W7M in a pretty good spot. JV is down, pistol cannot connect. It's a swing. W7M are just pulverizing Liquid at this current point. And Julio gets very confident on the breach. Resets 1 kill for Liquid. Ask taking damage from that Electric Claw on the wall. Kaid still bleeding out. JV at the halfway point, but holding on to his wounds for now. They see Ask's position out of the office, secures the kill, but again, W7M just don't need to give an inch. They try to isolate the position, but Ask can't do it. 5-0 for W7M.
You look at that. We are exactly where we were on Clubhouse. Now, what W7M did when they were down 0-5 is that they won that 6th round, which gave them enough wiggle room to try and initiate that comeback. Then they lost their first defense. It was 6-1. They won 3 in a row. It was close. And they forced Liquid all the way to take their tactical timeout, slow things down, and reconsider their approach. Liquid, they practically, like, they need this round. If you go 0-6, I mean, not only is your mental chalked, but also one mistake, KZ getting a spawn peek, a C4 just flying through the map, or a grenade in that case, and it's over. You want enough wiggle room to take those risks, to make mistakes, to give yourself just a little bit of leash. And Liquid, they're not sure how to get there. Now it's Ask's turn to play the Nuke. Nesk played it before. Paolo goes off the Twitch. He goes onto Flores, where you're really just swapping up who plays what operators. And I admire Liquid's flexibility to do this at this level of play. But I feel like it's coming from a place of frustration more so than a place of counterplay or productivity. It seems to be that they don't know which players should be playing which operators right now, because no one seems to be getting the results that they want. When in reality, this kind of flexibility should only be applied when it's because of a direct counterplay, because of information or how to approach a particular operator. Ask, of course, gonna sneak around downstairs, try and look for an opening. Has drone support as well. Classic Liquid style. Nesk found it in that previous round. Ask might do the same. W7M, they have no idea that he's this close to them.
I was going to say, look at how much space Nesk has been able to close between him and his adversaries. It's the same rotation that we saw. Uh-oh. Ask gets a kill and then immediately gets out of there. Volps is ushered into action. The shotgun blast, you can likely kill the Nook in one hit from such a close range.
So, bandage trick successful. 2 Selma charges, great value there. Only 1 spare in pocket, no secondary heartbeats available. You have 4 grenades and Retero drones. So Liquid got a little bit sloppy there. Couldn't drone out Geisha. No easy access with the drones. They get punished for it, successfully so. Ask can find a second, but no, Paolo does instead.
Oh, Liquid desperately needs this. Stop match point from happening in the first half, which would force Liquid to go perfect on the other side of Skyscraper. A reminder that this is happening on each team's other map. This is W7M's choice of clubhouse going in favor
What?
of Liquid, and oh,
He was full HP.
that's incredible. What a shot from Volps.
I can't believe my shotgun doesn't do that.
Do I need to say it again?
Fine. Washed pro player. Nesk, however, he brings the fire.
All of Liquid bringing the fire right now. Volps in a 1v2. Diffuser still in the hands of Lagonis. They box him out of his position right now, playing by the shelves and pantry. He's got to rotate by the stairs. Volps waiting. Aruni gate reset. Nitro cell ripped out it goes, and what? He doesn't pull at the last second. Volps doing great damage to Nesk. Back onto the diffuser, Lagonis goes. Do you trust Nesk? That is the real question. Up with the shotgun. Volps has only one more to find, and he'll just dance around it. Lagonis at full HP. And Volps makes the impossible possible. First half goes to W7M 6-0.
Oh boy, again, the shotgun doing so much damage in Liquid. I mean, they're in a stable position, and Lagonis, I think he slightly mistimed the plan because there's like 0 point something seconds left. I mean, again, it's the 50-50s. Do you get off it and fight? Do you stick it and force him towards you? Either way, Volps, he got enough space on that barbecue bomb site to enable the shotgun, and whether the bomb was down or not wouldn't matter for Lagonis, because the second you get swung, that shotgun is more than likely gonna take you out with that first pellet going through. And now we're here, 6-0. What could potentially be the very first 7-0 of the entire tournament so far. We almost saw it map number 1, where Liquid were in the lead, but W7M, they denied it. They've lost the map, they've not lost the series yet, they're still fighting tooth and nail for it. They know that Clubhouse as a map just didn't go their way, and they're starting from scratch on Skyscraper. And I truly think that Julio has brought that light to the team and saying, guys, next map, do not let your emotions control you because of what happened in Clubhouse. We can take it one map and one round at a time, because they look like they are 100% in this from the very start of Skyscraper. I did not see any lack of confidence. I didn't see any hesitation. They're bringing it each and every single round, each and every single minute of those rounds.
Reloading.
We talked about this during the break, that W7M did not look like themselves. They did not look like the dominant team that can control the pace and tempo of a matchup. And it happens on Team Liquid's choice of Skyscraper, where W7M suddenly gets back to fine form. What can Liquid do to get their head in the game? Lagonis is the only player on the team who, through 6 rounds, has broken 4 kills. That's a pretty miserable tally to find out. When you've got Ness going 3-6, when you've got Palu going 4-6, being effectively shut down by all the threats that W7 has,
It's tough.
It is tough.
When your support player has the most kills in this particular matchup, something is going wrong because your injuries are not finding that success. They're not hitting their marks.
These are largely cleanup kills from Lagonis before they lose the round. So Lagonis could get a pick or two, but it's when he's in a 1v4 or a 2v4. It's not the predicament you want to find yourself in at all. So first logic bomb that goes off. Palu guarding the breach that's been opened in office. Ask not too far away. Palu's gonna push up. Selma goes, shotgun is out. Palu has to dance around the flash. Things go from bad to worse for Liquid. They're already staring down the barrel of defeat, and a nade will claim Nesk. Goes 3-7 in this matchup. There might be no hope of salvation for him. Villa becoming a very real possibility for map number 3, especially as W7M pick up yet another kill. Ask drops. Lagonis is also down, finished off to Herds. This is Liquid in free fall. Palu in a 1v5. Could it be a flawless end to the first 7-0? No, Palu denies that. But he gets spotted as he heads back into the bomb site, and JV shuts it down. It is at least a 7-0, the first that we've seen yet here in Sweden. We will go to map number 3. What a statement by W7M.
Seeing a 7-0 in this matchup with W7M and Liquid in the semifinals of all plays is not what I expected whatsoever, and not after seeing how Liquid played on Clubhouse as well. Villa's the 3rd map. We can reset for both teams and see what happens there. We need all 3 for this one.
Nothing to hear from us. You're going to want to hear from the desk, because boy, oh boy, that is just That's one of those games that you're not going to forget, and Liquid probably won't forget it either. They'll have to keep a level head as Villa is up next, but we have a break ready for you, and then we'll come back with a thrilling conclusion and see which of these teams meets BDS in tomorrow's grand final.